Hey everybody, welcome to another review. Tonight I'm going to be testing out the McAfee security, I think it's Total Security 2013 beta. So I downloaded a copy of it offline and installed it and updated it. We'll go again so I can show you the updates. They still haven't changed the user interface at all. So I guess that doesn't work. Okay. So it's just basically kind of like the same user interface that they had before. Real-time scanning is on. If you click on real-time scanning settings, you can drop down the settings and you can see what it uses to. So it's scanning for threats, buffer overflow exploits, active protection for live defense against threats, scan for viruses by identifying threat patterns, removable media drives. When I plug in a media drive, scan it. It says check the most common startup threats during startup for fast startup time. This is all how it's set up from the factory. So these are the different things you can do. Scheduled scanning is apparently off. Email firewall is on. Anti-spam is on. Site advisor is installed. File lock and shredder are installed. My home network and quick clean is installed, and parental controls. Show you guys that we have the latest setting or the latest version. There you go. So let's give it a whirl, see how it works. First off, let's check out the memory usage like we normally do. Alright, so we'll see if this drops throughout the time, but 60, probably close to 70 megs if you add, no, I'm sorry, more than 70. Probably 80 if you add all these together, close to 80. So pretty, not a small program, not a small memory footprint, but we'll see how it affects the usability of the computer. That's what's interesting at the same time. So as usual, I got a packet of malware here, and I have links, so we'll try out the links first, and we'll go from there. So we'll open up Kill Switch, grab our links. We'll open up Internet Explorer too. We don't need the performance graphs. Seems like the computer is a little slow right now. You can see things are kind of sticking. So you can see everything is good. Everything is safe. Alright, let's start up and check our first link. Fake AV. Okay, risk connection blocked. Okay, so it killed the connection, but it did not stop the fake AV from being installed. So that's a total failure. Well, that's disappointing. So I'm gonna X this out if I can. Doesn't look like I can. But I'm just gonna kill it. Hopefully that'll speed it up. Okay. Well, that was disappointing. Let's move on. Okay, so that one may contain potentially unwanted programs. McAfee has detected potentially dangerous downloads from this site in past tests. Okay. So I have a feeling that the rest of these aren't going to work. Because it's finding the domain, not the actual file. Right. So let's see if it finds the file. Right, so the domain, this is great. Now let's see if it didn't have the domain, what would happen. Alright, so let's save the file first. We'll save it to the desktop. Kill this one too. This is part of that other process. It looks like it's gone. So it might have identified it, but it never said it did. That's interesting. Alright, let's continue. We'll skip that one because it's part of the same domain and it'll block it. Okay, so that one was also identified. Let's once again download it and save it to the desktop. Okay, so that one was not found. Let's see what happens if we try to run it. Nothing happens. Okay, so it looks like McAfee stays really quiet and it doesn't really let you know about anything that's going on. Okay, we'll run this one. This is adware. Adware. Sorry, I just get that stuck in my head. I don't know why. Alright, you can still see stuff being the Babylon toolbar and whatever. So you can see that was installed. Let's move on to the next link. Oh. Now these next two, at one point in time, had exploits. We'll let that one work in the background. We'll open up a new page, new tab. There you go. The exploit looks like it's still here. You can see the Java started, and it looks like a connection was blocked. Yep. Okay, this one also was blocked. So this one also had some kind of exploit. Actually, this one might be a phishing site. That one was identified. You are downloading something, whatever. We'll save it to the desktop. And you can see that that one was also blocked. Last two. Once again, save it to the desktop. And you can see that it was killed. And last one. That one doesn't work. Alright, so let's move on. And I'm going to temporarily disable the real-time scanning so I can unpack that folder of malware. So give me a few minutes and I'll be right back. Alright, so now I'm doing a right click and scan on this folder of malware. Start out as 2279 and it's automatically fixing the ones it finds. So I'm just gonna let it go and I'll be back whenever it's done. Alright, so I had to restart because McAfee stopped responding and now it's not starting up, and that program that installed itself, that fake AV, just continuously restarts itself in the background, and I can't get the McAfee user interface to start up. This program, Windows Pro Defense, has taken over the computer, so if I right click, as you saw, and try to go to Task Manager, it opens up. And you can see it got identified as a suspicious program. So even though it's never been seen by Komodo, it identified it. So more than likely, what I'm going to have to do is probably run a scan with probably Malwarebytes or something, and you can see it's taken over a lot of things. Hopefully that'll get rid of that program and that'll let me continue my scan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zip this up. Oops. I'm going to zip these files up so Malwarebytes doesn't identify them. And that'll give me a chance to clean out this program so we can continue our detection. But this is a failure, a pretty big one. So you know what, I'm not even going to do that. I already have a copy of it on my computer. I'm just going to redo the scan later. So I'm just going to delete these. As you can see, it's not running, and anything I try to do, that's what I get. So I will be back. Alright, so Malwarebytes finished its scan and it found 700 issues. So we have that Trojan, we got temporary internet file, registry key, bunch of registry keys, security hijack. Because what this did, and I'll tell you right now, basically in the registry it put in that anything named like these, so avg nt, that exe, and it cannot work. So in here, if I look, I'll probably find McAfee basically, and there you go, MC Shield, MC Shell, all that stuff. Basically none of that works. Malwarebytes is in here too. As of right now, Cleaning Essentials is not, but I got around the Malwarebytes by just changing the executable name to something that's not in there. And that's just a little trick. So all these are going to get fixed. And there's also the files that are associated with this program now too. There's also, you know, a couple of Trojan files associated, well, Trojan registry key that changed it. So we're going to have to fix all this before everything comes back online. So we're going to check all the items, because we have a bunch of stuff too, potentially unwanted programs. We're going to remove everything. And then I'm going to have to reboot, and I'll be back. Alright, so I finally got this to work. I first had to use Cleaning Essentials, the quick scan, to get rid of a couple of the files and a couple of the settings. And then, because Malwarebytes would just stop working, so after I renamed it, it was able to finally remove everything. And now it's going to restart. Oh yeah, and I had to do it in safe mode also. Alright, we're back in Windows, and guess who came back to life? McAfee's back. Imagine that. So that was a bad infection. It basically disables pretty much, if you don't identify it and stop it from writing to the registry, it will disable your program. And it's not it's Windows doing that. So you're basically using Windows to disable your program. Alright, so now I'm going to go back, grab that folder, and redo our scan. That was just an extra file that I had to reinstall Malwarebytes. So I'll be back. Alright, so finally I was able to do a scan. I did a couple of them just to make sure, and it finished. Now there are 406 left over. So let's do the math. %. That's not that bad in detection wise. So now let's see how it handles the see, that's done, we're good, everything's good and up to date. Let's see how it handles issues with files that it doesn't identify. This huge file. So we'll run, I don't know, 10 to 15. Okay, we'll call this number 4, number 5. Okay. Six, 7. Scroll down some more. I don't know, we'll run 3 more here. And we'll call this one the last one. Alright, so now let's open up kill switch, see if we got anything flapping around in memory that we don't want there. Nothing out of the ordinary. So let's do a full system scan with McAfee. Let me delete this folder, and I'm gonna run CCleaner to clean out any temporary internet files or temp files that got created. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a scan, so I'll be right back. Okay, so it fixed everything and identified just that zip file, and it says it quarantined it, but it's still here, so yeah, I don't know how that works, but we'll delete it because it did identify it. Alright, so with that being done, let's run a scan with cleaning essentials. So we're gonna run a full scan, and I'll be back. Alright, so Komodo cleaning essentials finished scanning, found 2 threats. Looks like it found a false positive on a part of McAfee. So we will just report that. I found an unwanted application adware, PDF converter. So we'll apply those. And I'm not going to restart. I'm just going to continue. So I'm going to do another scan with Malwarebytes, and I'll be right back. Alright, so Malwarebytes finished scanning. I found a bunch of threats. So we have that adware, gameplay lab, backdoor, possibly unwanted programs, and Trojan.agent. Got a file and some registry keys. So we're going to remove all these. And then I'm gonna do a scan. I'm not gonna restart. I'm just gonna do a scan with Hitman Pro, and we'll kind of see where we're at. So I'll be right back. Alright, so Hitman Pro found a bunch of stuff. So I found that piece of malware on the desktop that really nobody identified. That was identified by Dr. Webb. Found DLL errors fix.exe. I remember we actually messed around with that, and that was had some characteristics. And then once again, this price peep thing. Adware. Let's see. Adware. Trojan, that fake AV. So there was still something left from that fake antivirus. So yeah, there's still some infections on here, and I'm sure you'd have to scan with a lot of different antiviruses to kind of get everything out of it. So you can see that I haven't seen any improvement in McAfee since last year's version. I haven't seen any 0 day or anything like that, so I don't even know if it's going to be really worth it to me to test the final version because they haven't added any new modules or anything to it. So there's no usually from beta to a final version is just bug fixes. I don't think they're going to add anything else to it, so I highly doubt I'm going to do another review on it for a long time. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to everybody later.